Hi everyone, Vonnie here, and today's Neopagan November prompt is Spellcraft. Now, I love spells. I have many books with spells in them. I have a book of shadows with spells in it. I love spells. However, I'm a big believer that you should do your own. I don't mean like do it if you want to, you can do an elaborate pass and just, oh, I need to call this and I need to call, no, just figure it out. Like get dirty with it. Just hash it out, write it down, tear it up, write it again, whatever you got to do to make it yours, make it yours. I use the spell books in my library as inspiration because sometimes I get writer's block. I just have a creative block that I can't think of what I want. But if I find something that states what I want, then I'll use that. However, I will tweak it to fit my needs. Sometimes it's a couple of the words. Sometimes it's the ingredients that I have to tweak. Sometimes I just say fuck it and won't do it. And just be like, no, that's a no. Because sometimes it has to feel right for you. There's some people who are like, oh, well, I tried your spell and it didn't work. That's because the spell wasn't for you. It's not gonna, it might work for them, but if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean it's a bad spell. It just means you need to do a spell for you. So I decided that today's video is just a little advice on how to write your own spell. You have to take into consideration the prose, the way that you say the words, how it feels to you. If you're standing in the middle of your room with an athame up to the ceiling going, thine eyes are as bright as the dawn, and it feels ridiculous, it probably is. If that's not a way that you would communicate to somebody, then you don't have to do it that way. If you say, yo, this place is lit, and it works for you, it works. It doesn't matter. It just has to fit you. It has to come naturally. If it feels forced, the energy is not going to come because you don't feel it. You feel ridiculous standing there. Another thing to consider is the length it takes you to do this. Are you going to be able to sit still for 10 minutes? No. Then maybe cut it down to 5 minutes. Are you going to be able to do a circle casting round 3 times? Maybe. You can try it, but if it doesn't work out and it doesn't feel right, it's okay to change it. And then specify your intent. Like what visualization or what trigger you can have to lift that energy is another one. You, like if, for instance, okay, crystal ball. I can't see anything on it. So the way that I visualize and scry is by playing a specific song. That gets me in the mood. So use the triggers that you need to like get to that energy, get to that level where you feel that energy imbued in you, imbued in the spell. And then last but not least, invoke whoever you need. You can invoke specific deity if you work with deity. You can decide to call the quarters. I like to call the quarters every once in a while. Just if I'm doing, like on the Sabbats, I like to call the quarters because it's a big celebration for me. So I call quarters and my ancestors and divinity, and we have a party. And that's why I do it on the Sabbats, because it's a time for celebration. Now, if it's a simple spell, I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to focus on my intent. Now, I work with Yamaya every once in a while. She's my baby. She's my mama. And when I want peace and tranquility, I'll invoke her. I'll do an evocation. And then I'll go about my spell. Sometimes I don't want her help or need her help, and I'll do it on my own. So anyway, that's some advice on spell casting. I don't have a lot to say. I just hope that even if you're having a hard time, to remember the magic is in you and it has to feel right to you. It may not work for them. It may not work for them. It's for you. Anyway, brightest blessings.